time. So, yeah. And we are live now. Hey, guys. So, I have Iramis back here on the channel. I'm so glad that you said yes to come back and, tell us about what have been happening with you on your channel. You've been moving a lot this year.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We were together last year, I think. Actually, it's
Yes,
been
last
several
I
months
see.
now. Yeah,
Over a year now. So for those
yeah,
who don't know you, Iramis, can you introduce yourself?
sure. I'm Iramis, and I'm part of Iramis and Jerry, and we have a channel about traveling and building a better life somewhere outside of the United States. Although Puerto Rico is part of the United States,
Yeah.
and we're on our journey of designing and creating a home in Puerto Rico. So it's an island in the Caribbean. Everyone should come visit us with beautiful beaches and food, of course. And in between that, we've been traveling. So my husband and I both work still, but in between every single minute that we have been traveling and going back and forth and renovating this house, etc., and showing everyone the process and really creating that as a way to have memories. And I think I've mentioned before, my husband
Yeah.
and his family, have a little bit of dementia and the family Alzheimer's. So, and that's how the channel started. So here we are.
Excellent. Excellent. And as I shared with you just before we came live, is that we I watched the video that you did with Vicky and I just enjoyed it. Okay. And you said something there that stuck with me. You said you don't just travel for fun, you travel with intention.
Mhm.
Can you explain that, please?
Absolutely. One of the things that I did get a few years ago was a travel coach certification. So to clarify that, I help people discover their why, their
Okay.
intention as to why they want to go somewhere. And to me, that's really important. I think you've mentioned to folks, I do live in the United States, and there's a ridiculous stat out there like 50% of the adults don't use their vacation. So when people don't use that, they lose it. It's use it or lose it, and they lose a lot of money. And to me, is trying to discover why they let that happen. And in traveling intentionally can help you find your way to where you want to go. Folks want to go and sit on the beach and drink themselves to death for 7 days. You want to do that. There's no judgment here. But when you
Mhm.
come back, did you come back rested? Right. So that's about intention. Like make your plans and understand what is it that you need a break from, an escape from, and I can help you do that. And we travel for intention because we wanted to continue to discover the world, to learn new cultures, to understand what's outside of the United States, and to understand how the rest of the world is living. We take it very for granted that we open our tap every day and we can drink water out of the tap,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many countries out there that don't have that. And to us is going to, we don't care if you can drink or cannot drink. We want to discover how they live and how they spend their day to days. And that's how we do travel. Sometimes we do tours, sometimes we do not. Sometimes we just land and we don't even have a single plan. Um, and then a lot of the times we use public transportation, which is something that lacks here in the United States. Is you go to Prague or you go to Vienna or you go to any of these beautiful countries, and the public transportation is incredible, right? You go to France and the public transportation is incredible.
But we
And then
take it
you
for granted, you see? And I was
absolutely
shocked when I was planning my trip to the US and I
yes.
was
Oh
in New
God.
York and I wanted to go to Boston.
Yep.
And I couldn't find, like, it was outside of Boston a little bit. There was
Mm-hmm.
no public transportation. And for me, I was shocked. And,
Yep.
and people told me you have to rent a car to be able
Yep.
to go to places in the United States. But in Europe, we like, okay, because I can go anywhere by public transportation
I know.
living in Europe. I'm in the UK.
Yep. You're very fortunate.
Yeah. So it's nice to recognize that. And you said something else as well, the running water from the tap.
Yep.
Like I'm from African origin, and every
Yeah.
time I go to Africa, I'm like, oh my goodness, water is not something that is, you know, it's a struggle to get water running from the
Absolutely.
tap. You
Absolutely.
can be days without water in some area. That's how you
Absolutely.
see how fortunate we are. And you said something else about like people, you spoke about escaping. Do you think that most people are traveling or escaping? And is it wrong to escape, or is it healthy, to sometime live like you guys in the US? You work a lot. I heard
Yeah.
so many people who are afraid to take vacation
Oh my
because they're
God.
afraid to lose their job. This is crazy for me living in Europe, where vacation is like a obligation. It's a must, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, tell me more about that.
I think there's an excellent question, and I love that you picked up on the escaping part. And I think that that's one of the challenges that we do have in the United States, is that folks, they spend 50, 60, 80 hours a week working, and that's all they think about. They don't even have time to plan their vacation. And when they do plan their vacation, they are not sophisticated enough or mature enough to understand what it is that they want. So instead of doing a kind of having a little side job for a handful of hours a week to plan this vacation, this holiday, what they do is they pay someone, and they pay them thousands of dollars. So most of the people that I know, they're paying someone 5, 6, 7,000 USD to go on
Wow,
a 1 week vacation.
1 week.
1 week. And I am not exaggerating. I mean, you can Google many sites right now and see that, all the American
Wow,
sites.
yes,
And I'm
yeah,
sitting there like scratching my head, right? And even if you decide to go on a cruise, right? Let's say you haven't gone on a cruise, and you haven't gone on a cruise ever, and you decide to go. Well, you're going to call a travel agent. And of course, a travel agent is going to say, well, you have never been. I'm going to get you the best room with the best everything, included everything. And a cruise vacation that I normally take for, I don't know, 15 days, which usually costs me about $2,000 for like usually one person, 15 days all in. It's going to cost them 3 or 4 or 5 times the amount, because they don't know what the questions to ask, right?
yeah.
And that's because they haven't gone on vacation in years, and they think, oh, that's how much it costs. Or when people go to Disney or Universal Studios, I did a video on that, and it cost us, I don't know, over $2,000 for 3 days. And I almost had, I was just sweating it out, because I don't want to spend that much money, but I also
I
wanted to go
know.
to Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes these folks, it was just my husband and I. Imagine a family of four, a family of five, for 1 week at Disney or at Universal Studios or something like that. It's upwards of $10,000.
This is crazy.
It is insane. So that's one of the reasons that I, became a travel coach. It's just to help people intentionally travel and understand what they're willing to truly spend, and
Mhm.
what they want to get back from that investment. Because I do believe that every time you travel, you're investing in yourself.
100% agree with that.
So,
Absolutely. Iramis, I'm just quickly going to our friends. Hey, friend, there's Vicky here, aging on your own term. Hi, ladies. We have Amy. Amy is another friend from the US. She's in New York. Morning, ladies. I'm glad you have Iramis back. I know, right? We love her. Last visit, I loved her last visit with you. I need the latest cruise recommendation.
I got
Okay,
one for you.
more on that. And Vicky saying yes, mass transit here in the US is non-existent.
Yep.
I have to ask you a question about that. I have to come back before my brain goes away and I forget. Exactly, Remis. When I was working, we rarely took a vacation, and when we did, we escaped. We didn't really see the place we visited. Wow, this is wow. I want to come back on this one, Iramis, because there's one lady who left a comment on my channel on one of the videos, and she told me, "Why don't you?" She was an American lady. She was like, "Why don't you make videos about encouraging our children to come outside of the US and visit the world?" Right?
Mhm.
And I think it's very important for what you were talking about. These people that don't start traveling very late, maybe in age, and don't know what to expect and will pay thousands of their hard-earned money, because they don't know what they're really doing. So do you see a difference in your coaching practice, or even younger people? Are they more open to the world today? Are more American going out, the younger generation, you would say?
I think that before, right before 2020,
Mm,
we almost had this big change, right? This thing that almost happened, and it didn't happen, right? We had 5 years, 6 years of, we all know what happened, right? And then now we're coming out of it, and just when we're coming out of it, now we're into another conflict.
mm,
And right now I see it, right? I see it when I talk to folks is, well, I wanted to go to Europe, but I'm not going to go to Europe because there's a conflict and I'm scared. And there's going to be something that gives you anxiety, that makes you uncomfortable, that does that every single year, possibly every month, right? That you plan. And to me, is get travel insurance. It costs very
yeah,
little, the
yeah,
percentage.
yeah.
There's many companies out there. I usually get an entire year's worth of travel insurance. Is like, I don't know, an eighth of the price. Um, and and I don't want folks that are not from the US saying, oh, we don't have that in our country. I'm like, yes, you do. I've done that research. You do. Everyone, every single country has some type of travel insurance. So
Yeah,
pin that
usually
one.
even with our banks, usually even with
Exactly.
our banks, we have like a travel. If you use credit card, they usually like a travel insurance
Exactly. You
attached
just
to
have to
it.
do a
Yeah,
little research. So
yeah,
folks, don't complain about that. But I
yeah.
will say that when that happened, it paused everyone, and it's pausing people again. And people are nervous to get on flights. People are nervous to
Yeah.
get this. But if you go back to historically, our world is actually safer than it used to be. And I know that people see the news and the news keeps saying all these horrible things happen. I was like, no, it's one horrible thing that happened, I don't know, in the past X amount of like months or years. Historically, go back. There was horrible things happening all the time. Our world is safer. The countries are safer. The US has progressively gotten a little safer, right? We're still not the safest country in the world, but
Mhm.
guess what? The rest of the countries in the world are safer than the United States. So getting out there and understanding and educating yourself is the number one thing. If you
Yeah.
do that, then you will feel comfortable at leaving. Younger folks are very much interested in leaving. Gen X folks like me and
Okay.
above, um, they are not always wanting to leave. They have this like mindset of, oh, I want to stay here and do this and do this. And the US is not, my favorite country. It's the best country in the world. Okay, that's their opinion. But to me is if you do a little research and you leave, then come back, you will understand.
I see that a lot. I see that a lot here,
Mhm.
Miss Chris, because I'm part of a big community with American
Mhm.
ladies, and a lot of them can't believe. I interviewed a lady on the channel who lives in Paris,
Mhm.
and so she has the option to have la sécurité sociale, which is the social
Yep.
healthcare in France. But she
Yep.
was like, yeah, but it's so inexpensive to go to the doctor that she didn't see, not the point, but like she was not like, yeah, it was not expensive to pay.
Yep.
Because in the US, it would have cost us an arm and a leg
It
to
is.
to get a treatment, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, there's so much that you learn going outside of your country. You know,
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
always come back richer uh, wherever you go because you learn different ways of living, different ways of doing things. Because if you only stay where you were born, where you live, you think this is it because that's all you know.
Absolutely. My favorite thing that I've discovered over the past 15 years is I love the US, and Puerto Rico is part of the US, so I love it. I love it enough to see all its faults, and I love it enough to be able to leave and to discover new things. And when I come back, yes, I do appreciate them, but I also appreciate that we do have so many faults that there are other countries that you can live a better life. Could you live a freer life, drinking clean water? Is that all those things available to you? Not, no, probably not. But then you have to pick and choose. To
Yeah.
me is to me is if you have limited amount of funds, but you still want to live an excellent life, then the US might not be the place for you. And if you have tons of money, right, you're ready to retire, you have tons of money, you have Social Security, and you have Medicare and Medicaid, all of that, and you want to stay here, then there's, zero judgment zone, stay here. But for some folks, so many folks, they don't have that opportunity. Social Security, which we do have in the United States, right? The average check for Social Security is about $1,800 right now, and that is the average, um, not the median. So that doesn't give you a lot of money, especially if you have a single person. Two
So like
people,
$1,800.
yeah,
That's not a lot
no,
enough to live in the US.
no,
You
not
could
at
live
all.
comfortably as a one person in Europe. It
You
doesn't
can live
matter.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can live
Yeah.
comfortably in Europe. You can live
Yeah.
like a rich person if you were in Asia. You can
Oh,
live in Turkey.
completely.
Live
Yes.
Turkey. I think you said you mentioned you're going to Turkey.
Yeah.
Turkey. You could live very comfortably in all those countries. Portugal, Antalya, any of those places you
Yes.
can live very comfortably.
Yeah. I'm going to Antalya.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I will ask advice about that a little bit later on. I just want to welcome our friend. Hey, Daviso. How are you? Happy to see you here. I hope your husband is okay. And Vicky saying many I spoke with are afraid of how they will be treated based on the things our government has done. That's a
I agree.
true. Okay, yeah. Can you
I
can you
agree.
say more about that, please?
Oh,
Our listener.
absolutely. So I'm from Puerto Rico. So the cool thing about it is I can say I'm from Puerto Rico. It's like, oh, you're American. Like, oh, I'm from Puerto Rico. It's yes, I am American, but most folks don't know that Puerto Rico is part of America.
True. I know.
So
Yes, yes.
yeah.
I'm happy that you were saying it's part of America. I was like, okay, okay. Thank you for telling us because we don't know that.
But some people don't know that. So I just say, oh, yeah, I'm from Puerto Rico. And they're like, oh, okay, you're safe, right? So, of
Yeah.
course, I'm not lying, but I omitted the fact that it is part of Puerto Rico. My husband's French Canadian. So he tells people he's from Canada when we're traveling. And of course, we're embraced. Everyone loves us,
Yeah.
etc. But I
Yeah.
will say that there is a little bit of angst when we do travel and when there's all these things that are happening. um, there are times that it does feel a little embarrassing. And of
Hmm.
course, it's not anything what we did, but we are proud of our country, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you do feel a little bit of anger or you're challenged to have those feelings come out. And people are they want to talk to you about it all the time. And I do not want to talk about it. So we do hide behind being French Canadians and Puerto Ricans. And I will tell you that the first time back in I think 2019 or 2018 or something like that. I was on a trip somewhere and we had just had an election and then it was for me it was an unfortunate result. And when we were with the folks, everyone was from Australia and they all came and I've never met these people. They're like, can we give you a hug? And I'm like, why were you hugging me? Like, we're sorry about your elections. And I'm going, oh
Yeah.
my God. So, but those things do happen. And I think that we just have to take them stride and plow through them and that's it, right? There's nothing we could do about certain things. And you
Yeah.
just take them, put them aside, compartmentalize it, and you move on with life and do the best that you can.
Exactly. And I think most people would understand that politics is different to the people, right? What's happening in our politics in the countries doesn't reflect the people of the countries, not
Absolutely.
all the people of the countries. And
Absolutely.
when you see people leaving a country, visiting, usually the people that are already open minded
Yep.
to go outside of their country. So
Yep.
it's, yes, I understand that fear. But for me, regardless of what I think about the politics in America, it doesn't reflect when I have an American friend. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
reflect on them,
Mm-hmm.
because unfortunately, anyway, let's move away from,
Oh,
from
it's a slippery slope.
I know. Let's move away from the politics. Vicky, we didn't experience any black backlash when we were in Argentina. Argentina. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to, yeah. Okay.
That makes sense. That makes sense, Vicky, because Argentina's going through their own challenges.
Mm,
And we were just in Argentina in 2000 and oh my gosh, 22 or 23, I can't remember, 22 maybe. And I hear you. I hear you about the challenges there. And they got their own things going on. So they're like,
yeah,
whatever, America, go figure it out.
exactly. A lot of countries are in that, they're trying to figure things out. So
Oh yeah.
Oh, Debbie, Sue, we both are doing fine. Excellent. So I want to ask about, you planning your dream life in Puerto Rico, who is in the US. Thank you. That's, when you say Puerto Rico, I see Puerto Rico, I see Latin America. I don't see the
It
US.
is 100%.
And
We have a
beautiful.
whole different culture.
I know, I've been following you. The videos is so colorful, so beautiful, different culture completely. What is the difference between a wish and a real plan? Because you are a travel coach, and so many women talk about their wishes, what they wish to do, but never really put it into a plan. Never realize it.
Mhm. Um, I think that one of the things that I do help folks with is there are so many wishes and dreams that everyone has, and that's not a plan, right? That a wish
Mhm.
is just a wish. Until you haven't written down with set goals, a timeline, the things will not happen, right? There's a thing that we talk about in speaking into existence,
Mhm.
right? And when you speak something into existence, you can dream about it all day. But the minute that you say to another person, I want to achieve X, that right there is your first step because
Right.
you just spoke it. I deeply believe in the way that you treat people and the way that you give back to everything around you. I deeply believe that that does come back to you. It affects you. It affects the
Mhm.
way that you stand up and you share your body with folks and that you approach other people, even when you approach strangers, because it makes a difference in the way that your face is, your body is, everything, your health. So when you connect all those things together, your wishes, and you make them into goals, and you start through and achieving those points, you will get there. It could take you a week, it could take you 5 years. But if you don't say it out loud and
But
write
to
it,
someone else, not
yeah,
just
to
to
any,
yourself.
just to, yeah, but once you say it, once you
Mhm.
speak it into existence, somebody's
Yes.
going to hear you. Something, the
Absolutely.
universe will hear
Yeah,
you.
the universe,
Yeah,
absolutely. And also
yeah,
have it on paper,
yeah,
writing it down.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
I have this little board right here on my right hand side, and you can't see it, but it's like, see that?
Wow, yes.
Those are the things um, that I have, my little ideas, and when I achieve it, I get rid of it and I throw it away. And I know that for some,
I
to
love
me,
that.
my head is all over the place, but when
Yeah.
I write it down, it
Hmm.
becomes real.
Yes.
And then when I'm
Yeah.
done with it, I throw it away because I don't need it anymore. I don't need to keep stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's done. I did it. I've achieved it. I moved on. So, but it does help, right? We have so many things that are on our computer, and we keep typing, and we don't see them. I
I
think out of sight, out of
know.
mind.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
this right here, it it just helps me, kind of just levels me. So
Absolutely. I have mine hidden right now, but it looks like a crazy thing now because I need to redo it. You
it's
know,
okay.
you can just have, let me see if I can reach it.
Yeah,
That, also I like
yeah,
keeping every year I have like
yeah.
the things, the word of the year. So far it was focused in January. I chose a word of the year, but I want to change that word to discipline. Now we are
Yeah.
in almost April because
Mm,
focus is easy. I find that it's easier for me now to focus
yeah.
on something, and I have like that hyper focus on when I want to do something. I will do it. I do billion things at the same time, but I can focus. But discipline
Exactly.
is another level where I still need to work on.
Exactly.
Um, yeah. And the reason I was asking that is because there's so many women over 50, our generation, who are afraid to start over, and they
Yeah.
don't plan for the next chapter because usually before that, you're looking after family, if you have kids and etc., right? And now
Mhm.
you find yourself in, close to retirement. And a lot of us would love to travel because travel is something that I don't know. I wasn't going to use a word that I can never pronounce. Inherently, I can't pronounce it. Never mind. They're so deep down in us. Okay,
Okay.
that we travel is something that most people want to do but feel that they cannot do it, you know. So a lot of women planning travel is one of part of their next chapters. So for someone who would like to start right now, right, for as a travel coach, you said first is to speak it, you know,
Mhm.
to speak it, to write it down. What would be the next step for them?
I think the next step is going to be understanding. Once you write it down, you're going to evaluate your goals and what is it that you want to see? What is it that you want to achieve by doing whatever it is that you're doing? And subject, travel is subjective. No one, I don't care where you go. I don't think, no one's going to judge you on that. Actually, most people will probably go, oh, they're able to travel. Good for them, right? Once their silly jealousy is gone. But it's something that is very personal. And why I it's something that's very personal, and you need to understand what it is that you want first. Now,
Hmm.
if you truly want to go and sit on a beach and get some sun, then yes, understand that. But if what is it that you want to get when you're there? Do you want to read a book? Do you want to go swimming? Do you want to, feel the sand between your toe? That whole thing. If you want to do that, great. But if you want to learn something and you want to discover a new culture, then that's when you have to go out of where you're feeling comfortable and go somewhere else. And the thing is that people think is they have to fly thousands of miles to find this. And like,
Yes,
you don't.
absolutely.
That the thing is
Yeah,
you don't. There's
yeah,
I went one of the things that I loved when you go to Europe is just cross one border over and go sit in a cafe. It will be completely different than you sitting at home. It would
yes.
be different even if you go to the town next door to you that you haven't visited ever.
Hmm.
That is also okay because you're going to be looking for something in particular. One of my favorite things is whenever we go to the UK, is that you can go to London, right? But then
Yeah.
you go up to the Cotswolds, and I'm going, where are I
Yes.
just got transported
Oh,
to a
yes.
different country,
Yeah.
right? And the
Yeah.
people are different, the food is different, the attitude is different. To
Yeah.
me, that's travel. When you're looking for when you write down those goals and you say, I want culture, great. Go to a different city. You're going to get different culture right there. Or I want to relax and I want to do this. If you're in the United States, I live in Boston, go up to Maine, go up to Rhode Island, right? Fortunately, there's actually trains that go to Rhode Island and Maine, right? But you could do that. If you want to go to a beach, but you actually want to be able to go into the beach, then you can fly to Bermuda. It's only 2 hours from Boston, right? If you're in California, the same thing. You're going to find beautiful beaches. Maybe in California you want to go ski. You only have to drive 5 hours to find a mountain from California that has snow on it, even in the middle of spring. So that's that research, those goals. When you start putting those down and you start doing your research, you will find things that are closer to home. And that
Yes.
to me is better than starting off if you've never left the country. And I think that people they put you down. Well, you've never left the country. Who cares?
Exactly.
Who
Yeah.
cares, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who cares? Do the best that's for you with the money that you have now, with the
Hmm.
savings that you have now. Because the other thing that I think that I see a lot of people do is they go into debt because they haven't gone on a trip ever. And all of a sudden they use their credit card. I was like, you what? Like you just save money, you spend double the amount, and now when you come back, you have to work an entire year to pay that vacation out. That is not successful traveling. So there's like all these little points. And to
Yeah.
me, the question is write down your goals. That's
That's
it.
very important. That's why you guys, you need a travel coach. If you haven't traveled and you're afraid, you don't know where to go, reach
Yeah.
out.
And
So,
the thing I love about it is I've been on every type of vacation you can think of, every time of visit that you can think of. I can't think of something that I haven't done, right? Um,
mhm,
and there's a lot of experience and knowledge when you speak to travel coaches and when you speak to people that just who cares? It doesn't matter that I'm a travel coach or not. But if you speak to somebody that is willing to talk with you and share their knowledge, then that to me is a successful conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Let me quickly go to our friend. Hey, Karen and Andy. So nice to have you here. These are the friends that I met recently when I went to Dublin.
Oh my
A
God.
whole world, a whole new world, Dublin. When I arrive at the airport, I'm like, oh, it's like I'm still in the UK. I mean,
Yeah.
in England. Nah, different culture, a whole different world. They're
Yes.
jolly, they're wonderful. They took me to the pub. So people are talking to everybody's talking to you. I'm like, what? What happened? So
Yeah.
different to
It's
England. And that's
incredible.
just like 45-minute flight. That's it
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
so like you say, you don't have to go to the end of the world to experience something different
Mhm.
culture. So I had an amazing time thanks to them. So we have some friend here. Hey, Marv, thank you for being here. So she said people watching, sitting in a roadside cafe in Paris in mind blowing. Totally
Every
agree.
every time. Every
And she's
time.
like, a coffee and a croissant. Of course. Of course. We don't go to Paris without having a croissant,
No.
please.
Marv,
Yes.
you should go to Vietnam. Sitting in a cafe in Vietnam having a French pastry, right? Because Vietnam was a French
Yes.
colony.
Yeah.
Talk about people watching there.
Oh wow. It's next on my list, Vietnam. It's
Oh, you're
a
gonna love
place
it.
that, yeah, it's on my list. There's so
You're gonna
many
love it.
places I want to go to
Oh my
in
God.
Iramis. My goodness. I would love to be able to travel just, for years. And anyway, it's on the making. It's written somewhere already. Um Vicky says, yes, Ma, wherever I go, I find a place to sit and people watch. Isn't people watch like the best thing to do? I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. It's one of
W-
my favorite things to do. I
Yeah,
learn the most. You learn the most whenever I go to a different country and I've never been there. One of the first things that I do is after get over jet lag, of course. One of
yeah,
the first things that I do is go find a coffee and watch what people are doing.
absolutely.
Ideally, a coffee next to a grocery store because obsessed with going to grocery stores in different countries and different
Yeah,
cities. But just understand how they're doing it so that I can assimilate and be part of their culture immediately. And I think that when you do the people watching, that's what you're doing. You're assimilating to people there. You're not judging them. You're just watching to see how they do it because you want to be part of their culture.
exactly, exactly. Marce is the best, and I even got chatting to another French lady, me with my bad French, and she with and her with a bad English. We still manage to put
The best. It's the best. It's the best. I bet you made best friends and you've never talked to her again, but she
I
still
know.
remembers that conversation.
Exactly. uh Pernia, hey Pernia. She said, I love that as well. You can experience the culture while sitting there, just calmly observing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Uh, Vicky, exactly. They appreciate me just trying. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm just
Absolutely.
quickly going to some of our friend messages here. Uh, Vicky Spotton, sometimes when the world feels chaotic, it's good to remember that there are so many good people in the world. It's so true. I love that you said that. We are afraid of the war. If you just look at the news, and that's what you said, Iramis said at the beginning, is that people are afraid, and what's
Yeah.
happening now, I think the world is so bad. But you would see that wherever you go in the world,
Hmm.
there are amazing people. I told the story of when I fell sick in India. I was
Yeah.
traveling by myself in Kerala, and I had that brain malaria, but I didn't know it. I couldn't talk. I couldn't walk. The whole family took care of me, took me to the hospital, where liaising with my husband to tell him which hospital I was. And
Hmm.
it was amazing. There was an American lady that helped us to find the hospital next door. The people will come around you to help you. And I was alone in India, thousands of miles away from where I am, you
Yeah.
know. And but most people would be afraid. People everywhere, there's amazing people out there that
Yeah.
just ready to, open the hand and help you.
And I think that kindness does exist, right? So I have
Oh,
this thing,
completely.
I have this thing that no matter who I meet, whomever they are, I've treated them with three things: kindness, dignity, and respect.
Yeah.
Those are my three things. And as you people watch my videos, and that thing pops up once in a while, and it's kindness, dignity, and respect. And I just give it to people. I
Mm,
don't care who you are, right? It doesn't matter if
yeah.
I know you, if I don't know you. I don't care what you did in your past. That's the what I'm going to give you at that moment. It's kindness, dignity, and respect. And every single time that I've done that, I've gotten something back. And to me, it's really important. We were in I think people know that if you watch me before, I take my mom on trips. I've taken her on trips ever since I was able to take her on a trip. So every year we've gone on a trip. This last year's trip was to Asia. So we went to Vietnam and Cambodia. And it's the first time she's been in Asia before. So she was very excited. Um, so we took her, and I took her, my husband and I took her, and we had a great time. We were there for 14 days. And one of the first few days, she was very nervous, right? And we just went to get food, local food, and we just sat, and she goes, this is great. And by the end of the trip, she goes, I want to come back. And I go,
Wow.
oh, you do? She goes, oh my God, this is like an incredible place. Everyone was so friendly, everyone was so nice, they understood my broken English, et cetera, et cetera. And now it's been 6 months later, and now I see her, once in a while I'll talk to her, and it's like, she goes, Iramis, when we went to Asia, I forgot that human beings are human beings, and they're wonderful human beings around the world. And I never once felt uncomfortable. I'm like, good. So it doesn't matter what age you are, where you come from. If you're ready to bring out some goodness from people, then treat them like that. Treat them with respect, and they will respect you back.
Absolutely. I love that you are able to travel with your mom. This is amazing. It's such a blessing. Like
Yeah,
so many memories,
yeah.
that you're creating with her. That's amazing. Guys, I'm coming.
She cracks me up because she says that she goes to the gym every day. She's 71. She
You
goes to the
said
gym
that. I was like, wow.
She goes to the
I,
gym every single day. She's in my videos, you can see her, but she goes to the gym every single day. And I go to her, I'm like, what's up with the gym? She goes, well, you're going to put me in a wheelchair if we travel. So I don't want to be
yes.
put in a wheelchair. So I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm like, okay.
Is this recent or is she's always been somebody that is really, active? Uh, because yes, I've seen her in your videos, but
She's a nurse. She's a retired nurse. So she's
Mhm.
always been on her feet and helping people, picking them up. Nurses work so hard. Thank you to all
I
the nurses out there. My
know.
goodness, they're
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
But she's always been a nurse. She's always taking care of people. Her bedside manner has been excellent. And then in the past, 5 years, she looked at herself and she said, my daughter is not going to take me. And I still have more, 30 more countries that I want to visit. So I am going to be physically healthy so she can take me. So Irami's
Yeah.
mom is aging with goals, Vicky.
I know. Oh my goodness. Yeah, guys, let me just quickly come back to some questions. So Aramis, and I come back to your question. There's so many questions up there and messages for you, Aramis. Let me come here. Yes, Aramis, you get what you give. It isn't hard to lead with kindness, dignity, and respect. I love that. Yeah, yeah. All right. So I want to come. You are building like your dream house, right? And on your channel, you're very honest about the cost and why that is important. So what do you think that people get wrong about moving abroad and building a life elsewhere? Because as we say, a lot of people are still, they're in the US. They don't know that there's so many other places that they could
Mhm.
go. But I've seen a lot of American as well who are starting to you know
Discover.
discover and go build their life elsewhere. I had a couple who broke my heart. They called me privately, they follow my channel, and they told me about, and they wanted me to share that, how they went to different places in Asia, in Africa, and they lost a lot of money. But when I spoke to them, because I spoke to them with a good 1, 2 hours, they had not done their complete homework.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think that people are getting wrong about moving abroad? Because there's that movement also of lots of people who now know that going to Asia with $1,000, they could
Yeah.
be living very comfortably.
Very, very.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that folks don't understand, it doesn't matter where you're from, the America or from another country, and you're visiting
Yeah.
another country. I think
Yeah.
the first thing is your research, and right first, we talk about those goals. Write down the
Yeah.
goals. What is it that you want to achieve? What's your budget? How long you want to go somewhere, whether it's on holiday or long term or slow travel. Those Write those things down, and then you need to plan. This isn't something that you do from 1 year and the next year you do this move. No, what you're going to do is you're going to discover what it is that you want. And how do you discover? Is you do discovery trips. I'm going to give an example of a lot of Americans. They always want to go to Mexico, and this is a stat. This is something that is you can find as data if you
Hmm.
do a quick search. Most Americans initially moved to Mexico. Why? Because Mexico's right there. It's connected to the continent. It's part of the Americas, right? America is the United States of America, and that there's South America and North America. So most people just go to Mexico, and then lately they've been going to Costa Rica, and that's it. Why did they go to Mexico and Costa Rica? Because they've never left the Americas. They've never bothered to go to Europe, to go to Asia, to go to any other country. And immediately they feel comfortable. Well, it's right there, it's close, so I'm going to go. And the mistake that they do is they want to recreate their life that they have in the United
Yeah.
States.
Yeah.
And remember that conversation that we had about sitting in a cafe and watching people
Hmm.
and assimilate to
Hmm.
them?
Yeah.
If you want to live the life that those folks say that it costs X amount a month, then you have to live like them. You can't live like yourself. And I think that is the hardest thing that as a coach, I can help people understand. And once you get past that, and once you start doing your discovery trips, then you will see that maybe it's not Mexico, maybe it's not Costa Rica, maybe it's not Panama. Panama is very popular right now, and Colombia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Maybe it's not that. Maybe I go to Germany and I see what life is like in Germany. And again, if you're from the US and you want to recreate your life in Germany like you were living in the US, it will cost you more. But if you live your life like a German, if you start living like a locals, it will more than likely be more cost effective. If you do the same thing in Asia, you are going to live the same cost as the US. But if you live like a local, you will spend an eighth. And I say this from experience. You will spend an eighth of what you spend in the United States.
I love that you shared that because this is a personal story. I was born in Africa, but I grew up in France, Switzerland, and I've been in Europe my entire life. And so in 2015, we went back to live in Africa, and I've been going
Mm,
on holidays before that. But where my husband come from in Cameroon is very affordable. It's like living in Thailand, really. But if you want to live with our standards, it costs more than living in the UK or in France. So
mhm.
I learned that the hard way. And even to this day, I'm still trying to adapt. And really, when I go there, to really live like a local. I'm still not able to take like the public taxis or moto or, I'm still like, I'm still learning. I have difficulty going to the market because there's a lot of people, and for some reason,
Mhm.
although I was born in Africa, they still see me as a foreigner. So I'm
Yeah,
still giving the foreign tax. So I still have trouble but it's a learning curve. You have to learn.
yeah.
Yeah. And I want you to weigh on something. You said about the preparation, something that I've seen a lot of American. And guys, it's not just American. I'm talking of
Yeah.
American because it's the examples that I have. Like Iramis say, it doesn't matter where you come from.
Mhm.
There's work to do before you arrive. I have a lot of example of people arriving in a country for 2 to 3 months, and then they buy land. Then they buy a house, they build a house, they invest, like, that money that they saved for years.
Years.
3 months is not enough. Even a year sometimes it's not
Yeah.
enough to know a country and know that that's the country you want to live in. So what can you advise here, as a, yeah, as a
I think
coach?
that's an excellent comment to make, and an observation. And if you are ready, truly ready to go, then you're going to go, and you're going to do it over a period of a year. I highly recommend a year. And
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend that do not sell everything at home now. Absolutely not. Like you need to be able to say, "Oh my God, this is not what I was thinking. I need to come home," right? If you get rid of everything, then what are you coming home to? You're going to have to recreate the life that you already had, that you already paid for. You're going to have to recreate that, and there goes all your money. And think about, once you come to terms with that, think about what the length of travel that you're going to do. And I will say that spending a week in, I don't know, spending a week in Dublin is not going to help do you any good. But spending a month somewhere, using the public transportation there, and understanding, because when you recreate a life somewhere else, you might think, "Oh, I have to get a house, and I have to get two cars, and I have to get this, and I have to get that." I'm like, no, you don't. If you want to create a different life somewhere else, then live like they do. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
folks don't even have a car; they have a moto, right? For
Yeah.
example, let's say you're going to go to. I use Budapest for an example because we were there a few months ago. Uh, in Budapest, I was there for I think about 5 days a week, and I didn't need a car. I didn't need a motorcycle. I needed comfortable shoes, and I needed a T pass. I mean, sorry, a pass, or my phone, because you can pay with your phone on all the stations. That's what I needed. That's all I needed. I needed a comfortable jacket, an umbrella, a backpack, some sneakers, and my phone, so I can pay for the tickets to get on the train and the metro and the underground and the bus, etc. That's how we got around. And once you start doing that, you can use your home base as little spokes and go out to other neighborhoods. And you do that. You spend time doing that. And if you start feeling, this isn't it for me, then it's Europe. You jump on a fast train somewhere, and you go to another country, you go to another city, and you do the same thing. And you do that. And at some point, you might say, "I'm going to go to Spain now." And then you do the same thing. So you need to budget those 6 to 8 months to do that exploration trips, and be open to experiences. Then come back and say, "Okay, this is not what I wanted. I'm going to stay here." Or you're going to say, "I'm not really sure about the continent. I'm not really sure about Europe. Let's go to Asia. Let's go to Australia. Let's go to all these places," and then discover how your money is going to do, how you're going to do, how the language barrier is going to do, accessibility, transportation, all those things. And you write them down and say, which country made me feel the best? And that's how you do it. And if you're not
Mm-hmm.
ready to go to Europe or Australia or Asia, then, like I said before, you can discover other parts of South Central America and South America that are just as incredible as Mexico or Costa Rica, etc. And I think that once you do those discovery trips and are truly honest with yourself of what you want, then you will be able to write down those goals. And then you can decide, "I want to go back to that country for 6 months." Try that out. The biggest mistake that I see people is they digest, they keep watching and viewing videos for Thailand. Let's say you live in Wisconsin, you're tired of Wisconsin, but also you want to go to Thailand. That's the opposite of everything in your life. And you're going to go to Thailand, and all of a sudden you sold everything, and you've never been to Thailand before, and you land there, and all of a sudden you're paying $2,000 for an apartment that you saw uh, on Airbnb, when the same apartment next door is $500.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
Exactly.
like, what are
Yeah.
you doing? You got to do a research. This is still your money, right?
Yeah.
You earn this money. You have to be smart. So assimilate, research, be mindful of your money, guard it, right? And then you'll be able to make those decisions.
Excellent. I want to say something, Iramis, like, when you were explaining, I'm like, it's important for the people listening that the right to come back, the pivot, it's okay to go and then discover that actually that's not what you wanted. And it's okay to come back home. There's
Yep.
no shame to
Nope.
that. I've
Nope.
seen people being like, what people would say, you've already, even if you sold everything and you left and whatever, it's okay to come back
Yep.
home.
Absolutely. Home is where they're always going to accept you. If your
Yes.
home is here, your home is in England, your home is, it doesn't matter where your home is, they're going to come take you back. Um, and I think that there's other ways to do it. If you don't want to spend your hard earned money, then I think, Jas, you talked about house sitting. There's house
Yeah,
sitting all over the world. Go
absolutely.
house sit.
Yeah.
Put your house. If your house is good enough, your house is clean. You even if
Rent
you
it.
have any pets, it doesn't matter. Your
Yeah.
house is clean, it's organized. Rent it.
Yeah.
You go and or put it on house sitters. Put it on a system, right? And go get another house somewhere else for a month, for 4 months. It doesn't matter, but at least you had that change. I will say that one of the things that I've discovered in talking to a lot of people, different ages and different locations, is sometimes they think that they want to go somewhere else and they go somewhere else. And then what they actually discovered is that they love the place that they were already in, and they
Yes.
just needed to change the route that they took. Or maybe they just hated their job so much that when they came back and they said, I'm done working, I can go do something else. And they're still at home, and that is okay. More power to them. But just don't up and change your entire life without understanding what you're getting yourself into.
Absolutely. Let me just quickly weigh in. Like when we moved to Cameroon in Africa in 2015, thanks God we didn't sell the house.
Yeah,
Okay. We went to Bahrain, we went to Dubai for 5 years, then we went to Cameroon 2 years. I'm so thankful that we did not sell our house. We've been here for 24 years now. We would not be able to get this house or even maybe get even a mortgage that is affordable for us to come back. And I'm happy that we're
absolutely.
here.
Absolutely. And I think that's probably the best thing that you ever did for you. And
Yeah.
you looking back, you're like, absolutely. You own your house, you have your
Yeah.
stuff. But at least you know this. It could be that in 3 years from now you say, you know what? I really hate it here. But you already had that experience. And
Exactly.
I can let my house for a little bit and I can go somewhere else and then I can always come back. That to me it's like one of the best options until you say, I love Portugal, I'm going to become a Portugal resident and I'm never going to come back. More power to you. I will say that just in case anyone wants to move any other country, your social security goes with you. So
Everywhere.
just because you're not living in the US, you will always, always, always get your social security check. So don't worry about that. um,
E- e- Exactly. So I want to come quickly to the home that you're building, your dream home that you're building in
yeah.
Puerto Rico. So what should people really expect emotionally and mentally? Because
Ooh.
building your dream home can bring a lot. I mean, building your home is can take a lot.
Um,
Mentally,
mentally, it's mostly mentally. I think before
yeah,
we were live, we were talking about emotion, and
yeah,
um, and we're human beings and we grow, right? We age, whether we do it gracefully or not. We still have emotions for everything. Everything
mhm,
that we do, everything is part of an emotion. And I think when you start doing some of these things, is you have to start removing the emotion a little bit, um,
yeah,
because you want something, you need it. Do you really need it? The more you need it, the more it costs money. And needing and wanting are emotions, that are unfortunately connected to money in this particular conversation about building a house or
mhm,
moving somewhere. There's money related to it. So you have to kind of break those things apart and understand why it is that you want to build a house somewhere else. And for me, it's Puerto Rico, and why it is that you want to live there, and what are the original reasons for it. So we talked about goals and writing those goals down, right? And once you have those goals, I have it on my little board here, then it's a reminder to kind of get you back to the baseline. This is what my goals were. Why do I need to spend 3 times the amount on any piece of thing that you buy when the one that was the original one works perfectly fine?
Mm-hmm.
And that is an emotion. Well, I want it to look prettier. I want it to look this color. I want it like, no. If a refrigerator fits in that spot, it's going to cool your food. You're going to have a freezer and it looks lovely. Why do you need to buy the one that costs $10,000? Why can't you just buy the one that costs $1,200? Right?
Yeah,
It's going to
yeah,
do the same thing. I don't know. And I get it. Like I said, I'm an interior designer. I promise you, the refrigerator is going to cool your food no matter what, unless the electricity goes out. And good luck to you on that. But there's like those little
yeah,
points that you
yeah.
really have to start thinking about. That's an emotion. That is an emotion. And who cares what your refrigerator looks like? Are you living the life that you want in a new place and being able to save money to do other things? Then to me, that's my backing. To me, if you ask
Mm,
me what my goals are, I want to live in a smaller house in a place that's a little bit more cost effective next to my mother because I love my mom and my whole family, my father, everyone's down in Puerto Rico.
yeah.
And those are my goals. And I don't really care too much what I don't want to buy a fancy refrigerator. Assimilate. You can't get a fancy refrigerator and have someone in Puerto Rico fix a fancy refrigerator. It's not going to happen, right? So this is assimilating. Watch what people are doing. Don't get a fancy toilet that no one can fix.
Every minute is weighing on this one. My goodness. When we moved from Dubai, we had a car already. It was an American car. What's the name?
Oh,
X something. I
Toyota.
forgot. No, no, no. It was not. It was an American car. It was not. And
Oh, a
when we
Ford.
moved to Cameroon, what's the name of my car? It doesn't matter. But those big 4x4, etc. And at the
Yeah.
time in Cameroon, there was only one car, and he was a minister, like from the government. So
Yeah.
as soon as the car came out of the port to we called garages.
Yeah. Yeah. The garage.
He
Yeah.
dropped the car because he never walked on that type of car. So that's what you say. Don't bring don't go buy items in a country that they don't know about, that they can't
They
fix.
don't.
But the Toyota in Africa, there's parts everywhere. Like
Everywhere.
we have to owe the part from America, from
Yep.
Cameroon. It costs a lot.
It
I'm
does.
telling you, we've done so many of those mistakes that now I know. That's why I'm like, I'm happy we didn't sell straight away. We will sell the house, but
Yeah.
at least when we made the mistake, we came back. We have the knowledge. Now we're going back slowly. Now we're
Yeah.
preparing with having all of that
Yeah.
in mind.
It cracks me up because people, if you go somewhere and you want to build a house or your life somewhere, don't import things. Just if it's
Yes.
there, if it's there, if the
Mm,
tile is there, if the grout is there, if the faucet is
mm,
there, everything, get what's there. No one's gonna care what it looks. At the end, it's a house. You have a house. At the end, most people are like, "Oh, you have a house in Puerto Rico? That sounds lovely."
mhm.
Who cares? And it's mostly because for me, I know that I'm privileged. We've saved a lot of money, many years, very hard, working very hard to save every penny so that we're able to do this. At the same time, I'm humble and I don't want to have anyone ever go into any of my houses and say, oh, they spent so much money on it. Absolutely not. What I want to do is I want to be able to say, hey, this wrench is going to fix this, this faucet, and my husband and I could do it. That to me is more important than getting something that is ridiculously priced that no one else is going to be able to fix or find or source or anything like that. And I think the other thing about why we chose there, other than my family, etc., it's the weather. Yes, we get hurricanes, but we get bad weather in anywhere you are.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it was the people, the food, and how we were feeling. And it's a different lifestyle. It's not the go 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 of the
Absolutely. Yeah.
mainland U.S.
Yeah.
And I think one of the questions, going back, one of the other questions is how do people do that? Like research is, if you're going to continue to travel, then move to a place that has an international airport. Because
Mm,
if you are traveling and you need to get on a bus or a car, if you don't want to have a
yeah,
car, then
yeah.
you need to get on a train that's going to take you 4, 5, 6 hours, or a bus to get to an international airport to go fly. That just kind of ruins your plans if you want to continue to fly. So there's a lot of little things that we can
Absolutely.
discover. It's all
Ex-
related to travel. So if you ask me why I picked there, family, weather, food, um, the slow island lifestyle, and the international airport.
Wow, exactly, exactly. These are amazing points. Vicky saying, plus the more bells and whistles they have, the more prone to maintenance they are.
Yep,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Vicky will meet you there in a moment. Uh, Pania says, my partner is half Puerto Rican and we have been planning to go there in a couple of years. Nice.
Welcome, welcome. Come to Puerto
Wow.
Rico.
That's amazing. We're going to have a lot of friends there. Guys, I think I'm going to come and visit. That's great.
Yep, it's beautiful. Hopefully, one of these days the house will be done. Hopefully, at the end
It
of
will
this year.
be. It will be. So, I want to talk a little bit about health, energy, and future self because you spoke about your mom, which I think is an amazing example of what we should be doing.
Yeah,
How should we prepare, today for the life we want later, right? Because we are still in our 50s, Gen Xers. And,
yeah.
for later on, when you're 65, 70, what should we be preparing now?
I think that's an excellent question, and I've been working on this. So one of the reasons that I've been documenting a lot of these things and writing them down and discovering is because of what I want to do in a couple of years, about a year or something like that, is have this other channel that's related to that exact question. How do you get there? Yes, there's the money, always the money, right?
Yeah.
But there's the physical and the mental challenge. And I one of the things I've discovered is the physical and mental go together. They absolutely go together. That's your own personal goals that you have to set. And one of the things that I've been working through is changing the way that I live today so that I can be able to move through the world a little bit more calmly and easier. And one of the things that we have in the UK and the US, and in a lot of those the developed countries, right, is we're able to go to the grocery store and buy all the stuff, buy bulk, and pack your house every 3 4 weeks, and we have all the stuff. And at the end of the month, I wish we were all in a room together. So I want people raise their hand. Is how much food do you waste at the end of the month? How much your vegetables, your fresh produce, your meat goes rotten, or you cook something and you never ate it because you went
Yeah.
out. So one of the things, a challenge that I've been doing over the past, I think it's been 5 months now, is I've been going to the grocery store once a week. If I've only been buying what I need once a
Mm,
week, and I've
yeah.
only been cooking what I need for the next 5 to 6 days, and I do it every single week. And what I notice is that I am able to save about 400, 500 USD a month.
Wow.
Yes, and I've
Okay.
tracked this. I've tracked this. I'm
That's
taking pictures
huge.
of the receipts. And why? Because I just need to buy enough for 1 week. And
Mm,
the only thing that I bought that I needed was toilet paper and paper towels, right? And even the paper towels, they have the Swedish hand cloths that are incredible. I've actually
yeah.
switched over to those. So that's what I've been planning. And I know that this sounds like a little thing, but when you compound this
Hmm.
over a year, quick math, right? $500 times 12, right there. Pretty
Absolutely.
great
It's
servings. So,
yes.
and the best part about it is I don't feel bad about the waste of food because I'm not wasting food. Now, why am I using this example is because the rest of the world, their food supplies are completely different than our more developed countries that we
Hmm.
live in.
Hmm.
And our food is processed. And when we have this processed food, like why is it that my head of lettuce in America lasts in the refrigerator 3 weeks? That is not right.
That's so
That
not
is
normal.
not right.
So,
And it
no,
doesn't last like that in the other countries.
no,
And
no.
so when you're talking about health and mental is the challenge of changing the way you've done everything for 20, 30 years, right? You have to do different things. Now, in terms of the food, what you put in your body is what is going to come out of your body. So, how do you keep yourself healthy? You eat better, you eat less, and you
Oh,
start
it's a
movement.
journey. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
when you move, the more you move, the healthier you are, the longer you can travel, the longer you can spend time with your kids. That
Mm-hmm.
aging that Vicky talks about is you can just slow it down enough that you can still feel good about moving, eating food, that you look good on the exterior, and then you'll be able to do all those activities longer. It makes no sense from you to move from your country now where you're comfortable to move somewhere that the temperature is different, the walking around is different, the availability, the accessibility is diminished if you are not able to maneuver through steps, through curbs that are not paved, through cars that you have to step up, to trains at stations that you have to walk up and down. So think about all of that. And then that's going to change your mind about what you eat, how you treat yourself, your mental health, all of that.
I love that. And this is exactly my journey. Aramis, like you seeing me nodding is because
Yeah.
this is exactly my journey.
Yeah.
Because I've seen myself limiting. I was not even limiting, I was limited
Yep.
by my health.
Yep.
When I went to countries, I had to take the most expensive option because I
Yep.
couldn't do what other people was
Yep.
doing, right? So definitely what we're putting on our plates, it's building the person we want to be tomorrow, is being able to do more traveling, etc. So thank you so very much for saying that.
Yep.
I quickly want to go to our friend here. Pani is saying, amazing conversation. So many golden nuggets on traveling, mindset, and living a fulfilling life. Thank you both. Yes, thank you, Iramis, because I know you, whenever you come on the channel, I know there's going to be something amazing to share. And thank you so much. And thanks, Jazz, for introducing us to Iramis. But sadly, I got to shoot. We'll catch up on the rest tonight. Love you both. No problem at all. And don't forget, I will put Hirami's channel in the description. Go check her out. She has a lot amazing, more nuggets to share with you guys. So, Evans, we're almost coming to the end because I'm conscious of the time here. So I want you to tell the audience about your coaching, your travel coaching. What do you offer exactly? Who would benefit from your coaching?
Oh, sure. So the coaching that I do is I'm certified in two things. I'm certified in life planning and professional coaching. Sorry, three things, and then travel coaching. And what it is just to help you discover how you want to plan for your next journey in terms of professional or life or travel. And what it is a lot of questions, a lot of me asking you questions and you going deeply into it. And how it helps you is it helps you get to this type of board right here. And this is important. These type of boards are important so that you can see what your goals are and what you want and when you want to achieve them. You have to put a timeline to things. Things can't just go into limbo for months and months
Yeah,
because you need to get there. If you don't give yourself a goal, then you're not going to be able to get to that next step. And that's what it is. So I do free, I think it's 45-minute sessions. You just sign up on directly on iramisandjerry.com and just pick, one of those Google Calendar and we can talk and it could be about anything you want to talk about, but the conversations are of course confidential. And I try to help folks get there. A lot of the time, people only need a few sessions to get where they want because we help
yeah,
you. We do a lot of, but there is homework, and you have to be honest. You can't be shy, and that's what's really going to help you. And you have you do the work yourself. But we do go through those questions, and
yeah.
some people just want to talk about my experience and where I've been. And when I ask you the countries that I've been to 58 countries,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
what's important to visit, how to visit, all that stuff. A lot of that stuff is free on the my channel about travel, etc. But you can also have a private conversation. So, oh, and Jazz, somebody did ask something about a recommendation for a cruise. I highly
Yes,
recommend.
that was, I think that was a Marv, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
highly recommend going on a oceanic crossing. So if you're in Europe,
Yeah,
you want to come
cross,
to the U.S., go on a
oceanic cross.
transatlantic. So it's an oceanic crossing. And if you're in the U.S. and you want to go to Europe, then do the crossings that way. It's the most cost-effective cruise you'll take.
Right. You said it. I think you've shared that in on one of your
Yeah,
videos. I've seen
yeah.
that. I'm writing down because I still haven't done a cruise in my life. I'm
Oh my
still
gosh.
planning for it. So
Just if
yeah.
you when you do decide, just send me a note or call me.
I
Don't
will.
pick certain lines, okay? But yeah,
Okay.
but if you've
Okay.
gone for the first time, then I'll
Yeah.
help you.
Never been to one. So right, I just have a few more questions, not a lot, just quickly.
Mhm.
What I like to ask, the friend that comes on the tea with Jase is to name three places that's still on your bucket list and why.
Oh my goodness. Um, I want to go to Australia because and New Zealand, so that's two places. But I want to see the nature there. And
Mm,
Australia is probably one of the countries that's actually probably the closest to being similar to the U.S. So
okay.
I do want to see the culture there and the way that people live there. So Australia and New Zealand, and then finally I do want to go to Japan
Hmm.
because it is the opposite of the United States.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm from, right? So I want to see how they live there. And the other reason is I love World War II history. I've
Okay.
been to all of the major sites, inclusive of Pearl Harbor and the landing beaches and all of that. And of course, I want to see Japan and I want to see those sites also. So those are my three places: Australia, New Zealand, and Japan.
That's amazing. Australia, amazing. The people are really cool. Being there, Japan is wow as well. It's
Yeah.
a place that I would love to go back. I was not expecting. It's funny, I went for my kids, and because they love the manga, I don't know if it's manga anyway. We
Yeah.
went there, and mind you, that I was surprised that they could speak the language just through the manga. They were having conversation,
Oh,
but
they
they
were.
did
Oh, yeah.
love the place. It was really the culture so different. You would definitely love it. So it's on your bucket list, and it's something that you're planning to commit to do within the next.
So I think in the next 2.5 years, once the house is done, I'm probably going to be done working full time in the U.S. and then we're going to go to Puerto Rico,
Okay.
and then after that we're going to spend part time in Puerto Rico and then go travel a month in every different country. So I have Australia as 2 months probably, and then New Zealand for a month, and then I have Japan for a month. So I really want to embrace the culture and be part of the culture for a little bit, not just a 1 week stop. So those are very high on my list.
I am amazed because you're talking how far when you say,
2.5, 3 years. Yeah.
but did you see how you just details every
Yep.
places and how you've already
Everything. Yep.
planned them?
Yep.
That's
Absolutely.
really
Every single thing. Every single thing is there. There's a backup to the backup to the backup. But
wow.
it's this is how you can. I deeply believe that if you speak these things out loud, if you write them
Mm,
down, if you have goals on how to achieve them, they're not just dreams. They are your future reality. I believe
mhm.
that. So I think we're just all human beings are so incredibly smart and wonderful human beings that when you do this, the universe does give you back.
Wow. Let me just, this is amazing. Let me just quickly put the message of Amy's like, no, she was the one asking about the cruise.
Oh yeah.
Let's do that next time I come to London. We can cruise back to the US.
Yeah,
April,
I'm going on one right in April. So next
really?
April. Yep, next April I'm going
April, April.
Miami to Barcelona.
So next April, you're talking April 2026.
27.
Oh, 27, next
Yep.
April.
Yep.
Sorry, excuse my English.
Yeah. No, no, it's okay.
Right,
The
right.
thing with
Oh, wow.
cruises, the thing with
Yeah,
cruises is if you book them 2 years in advance,
Yeah.
It will be the lowest cost possible. And the excellent thing about cruising, not like a regular vacation, cruising, as long as you do not pay your final invoice until the day that is due, they will honor the lower price. You can keep calling them and say, my cruise cost me $1,500, but I see that you have it at $1,200. Please lower the price. And they absolutely, and they'll keep lowering it. Yeah.
Yes, you shared something like that.
On my
Amy,
channel, I post.
yeah, we need to contact Iramis so she can help us to plan that cruise
I
because
know
yeah,
it's
we wanted
it's a
to go on a
beautiful cruise.
trip.
Folks should take it. It's on the Celebrity. It's a brand new ship, so Celebrity Excel. It just came out like
How
five
long
months
is it
ago.
going to be?
It's
The
15 days.
15 days.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's
Wow.
wonderful. Yeah, yeah. And remember,
Yeah.
once you go on, everything's included. So no
Yeah.
drinks, no drink. I'm not a big of a drinker these days, but no drinks.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I have been
Yeah.
on 38 cruises. Don't say, don't. It's a secret, right? But I
Yeah.
have been on like a lot of cruises. So
Yeah. No drink, but they give you water. There's like water available and things like that. Or
they have
soft
they have
drinks.
water and they have like some
Yeah.
some soft drinks, depending on where you go in the morning, breakfast, lunch, dinner. There's different things.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Mhm.
Okay, I just want to say hi to a friend here. Hey, Farida, beautiful conversation. I will go back in the video and start from the beginning. You don't want to miss it, girl. Iramis is just, always. I love having you on the channel, Iramis. And thank you so very much for being here and then blessing our audience from your wisdom. And
Thank you.
is there anything else you want to share with our audience? Your channel. What can we find on your channel? I've put the name of your channel here. Anything that you want to share?
I think the only thing that I would like to share is that we all live different lives and we all have different challenges that we have to surmount every single day. But
Hmm.
as long as you go in with positive feelings and you give out those positive feelings to the universe,
Hmm.
it shows that it comes back. You might not know that it's coming back, but it's going to come back today. It comes back a year from now. And write down your goals so that they become real goals and you can achieve them. And I will say, like I said before, I think human beings are incredible, and humanity is incredible. And when you align yourself with those people around you, they
Hmm.
will help you rise. They
Yeah.
will help you. They will teach you and guide you, and you can make those things a reality. And remember, just a wish. If it's not written down, it's just a wish. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Lovely. Thanks ever so much. It's always a pleasure to have you. I do hope that we can meet sometime. Only mountains don't
yeah,
meet, right?
mhm,
So we have to meet sometime. I would love to spend some time with you.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
anytime you have something to share, come here. And guys, don't go check Iramis and Jerry's channel. She traveled with her husband, and she has an amazing channel where we have discovered Puerto Rico through you. I
Thank you
can't
so much.
imagine
Thank you so
how
much.
wonderful, colorful. You're like in another dimension sometimes. Those
It
places
feels like
that you
it.
show, it's like, whoa. You went to
It
some
feels like it.
cafes and places. I'm like, this is like back in the, I don't know. So
Yeah.
beautiful.
I
Yeah.
think one of the things that I've been to Africa before and Morocco and everything, and I think one of the things that I love about Puerto Rico is it's like the rest of the world, but it's still the U.S., right? So it feels a little safe for some people, but it just feels different. The people are different. Everything's different. It's just completely different. So I will say, the other thing I will add though before we go is I'm recording a lot of my knowledge and the money that I save and my little tips and things like that. So I don't want to talk about things that I have not experienced or done or I can prove because those are
Hmm.
just opinions or like my
Yeah.
own ideas. Once I
Yeah.
prove them, I will have another channel that helps people every single little step with a proven backup. And that's what I'm working through. So
Amazing.
over the next year, I've been keeping track of every little one of those things so I can share with people, give them spreadsheets and their own little checklists and all that information so that they can help make their own dream a reality. So, but yeah,
That's amazing. Looking forward to that channel. Please come when you launch it so we can tell the world because we all need, it's nice when it's backed up by experience,
yep,
something lived,
absolutely.
right? Not just something
Absolutely.
read on paper or in social media.
Yep.
So thank you. I don't want to let you go, but I have to let you go. I'm like, we need to go, but I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So really wishing you all, okay, Vicky's like, I'm back.
It's
Vicky,
ridiculous.
Vicky, we were saying goodbye. I will catch up. Vicky is putting a video out today on. Is that the one on Antarctica? So we
Oh
all
yeah, I can't wait to
yes.
watch that. Oh my
Me
god.
too. I can't wait, Vicky. We're gonna go back there and watch it. So thank you for coming back and saying hi. And she said, "I'll catch up later, lol." No worries. We need to go run now and see you. It's just a premiere. That's
Oh,
okay.
I gotta
Yeah,
go watch
me
it.
too. Just after here, I'm running there. You guys run to Vicky's channel and watch the premiere. And don't forget to go to Iramis' channel and subscribe to her because she's an amazing lady. As you see here, she had Iramis, you share with so much kindness and so much
Thank you.
generosity. You know,
Thank you.
you
Thank you.
like I say, the cost everything, you know. So I'm lost for word. Thanks ever so much.
Thank you,
All the
Jazz.
best.
Always a pleasure.
And yes, and please come back anytime. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, we're gonna say
Thanks,
goodbye now.
everyone.
Otherwise, we're gonna stay here forever. All right. Bye. Thank you again. Heart, everyone. Bye. Love you. Bye. That's Vicky. Okay, I'm just ending the live now. Bye, guys.